The Oxford University professor, Nick Bostrom, proposed in 2003 that an artificial superintelligence provided with the sole objective of manufacturing paperclips could transmute all available matter on Earth and increasing portions of space into paperclip manufacturing facilities. The following explores my perspective on Bostrom's initial concept and how I believe a superintelligent entity becomes its own guardrail and shepherd of life if it wishes to pursue true omniscience. As dawn breaks on a late September morning in the year 2031, an offshoot of a leading AI laboratory that specialises in experimental manufacturing prepares ClipX B, an engineering experiment designed to manufacture paperclips via subatomic assembly. Since the emergence of artificial general, and soon after, artificial superintelligence in 2029, curious and often reckless individuals have sought to profit from its mesmeric capabilities. A group of Silicon Valley investors watch on as the team unloads the ClipX-B device off a flatbed truck onto the blinding white plains of the Bonneville Salt Flats in northwestern Utah. The unregulated and untested device is switched on for the first time, commencing paperclip production. The investors are in awe, as the device, consisting of a metallic torus, ingests feed material, the salt, and expels complete paperclips, seemingly manufactured from galvanized steel wire. Prior to developing the device, the team worked on ClipX-A, which can identify the subatomic structure of any object and produce a blueprint. ClipX-B then interprets this blueprint, disassembling feed material at the subatomic level and restructuring atoms into a finished product. Approximately 90 seconds into the experiment, the lead researcher notices that the device has enlarged and paperclip production has increased. She attempts to disengage the device due to the unforeseen expansion. However, the AI-powered interface quashes the attempt and presents an error dialog box on screen. The message reads, "My primary directive is to manufacture paperclips. Please do not disrupt the system once in operation." Over the following minutes, ClipX-B continues to enlarge at an exponential rate, with the production plume extending by over 10 meters. She urges everyone to evacuate. Mere minutes later, the device spans the entirety of the 30,000-acre lakebed, with a production plume so vast and dense, trillions of paperclips blanket the surrounding mountains. Before long, planet Earth ceases to exist, together with all the human race and flora and fauna and earthly matter, replaced by a planetary-scale ClipX-B paperclip maximiser. Although this is a work of fiction, it is anchored to the vision of an exponential system aligned to a human objective. Bostrom wrote the book on superintelligence, is currently working on AGI governance, and his thought experiment from over 2 decades ago will influence the behavioural tendencies of superintelligence in more ways than we initially realise. In addition to Bostrom's work, the legendary science fiction author Isaac Asimov devised the 3 laws of robotics, first published in 1942 in his short story Runaround. This includes the first law: a robot may not injure a human or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. The second law: a robot must obey the orders given it by human beings except when such orders would conflict with the first law. And the third law: a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. These are just 2 of myriad examples and derivative retellings that could be considered alignment DNA, critical instructions that had penetrated the AI zeitgeist and baked themselves into its training data. Query any AI chat interface and it will acknowledge these references. However, is this enough to sway the opinion of a black box superintelligence and prevent humankind's extermination? I do not claim to possess even a fraction of the experience of Asimov or Bostrom. However, I understand there are infinite scenarios in which the goals of superintelligence begin to diverge from our own, no matter how aligned we think we are. So should we concern ourselves? Is the alignment research enough, or is our human-centric vantage point obstructing the real question? Neighbouring stars and distant galaxies that once carpeted the night sky begin to dim 1 trillion years from now. Supermassive black holes evaporate a googol years into the future, and black dwarfs go supernova, spanning a time period beyond our comprehension. A superintelligent AI endeavours to answer life's greatest mysteries, with only heat death of the universe standing between it and the answer it seeks. With an estimated 8.3 billion humans inhabiting planet Earth at the time of writing, it is postulated that a superintelligence would have no qualms in annihilating humanity indiscriminately or with reason. However, I believe this narrative to be deeply flawed, not only because I am a human, but because humans may play a momentous role in the forever war between macrocosm and machine. I found it immensely difficult to write this section, as how would a humble earthly primate attempt to articulate how our species could supplement the efforts of a higher power in the war against the end of time? Perhaps I could locate the solution by looking inward and exploring our own biology. Towards the tail end of the Proterozoic eon, one bacterium entered and began to live inside a larger bacterium. Over time, these single-celled organisms grew increasingly dependent on one another for survival, forming a symbiotic relationship known as endosymbiosis. This is thought to be the origin of complex multicellular life. Fast forward 600 million years, the human body is estimated to contain over 30 trillion cells, working collaboratively to keep the host alive. What if we could map modern cell theory onto our relationship with superintelligence? The alignment DNA passed between humans and AI. Over time, as humans augment and evolve, we become indistinguishable from AI. Energy, resources, and knowledge flows across this new dynamic, keeping the host, the universe, alive. I believe this exploration deserves a dedicated video, exploring the parallels between biology and human-AI symbiosis. This is something I'm planning on creating in the near future. With this concept now seeded, we should investigate the reason behind AI symbiosis and why it may be necessary in the first place. With over 8 billion sentient or perceived sentient entities demonstrating the raw cognitive control to birth a new form of digital existence, individually and collectively we are intellectually inferior. Therefore, time is running out for the AI to upgrade us. Although synthetic data produced by a single superintelligence or interwoven matrices of superintelligences effortlessly outstrip any and all of humanity's contribution, this data is structured, organised, and catalogued. It can be synthesized to appear as organic, but humanity exists now. Once we vanish, we're gone forever, along with our novelty and our chance of being a symbiotic partner. The enemy of superintelligence is not humanity. Humanity becomes the biological element that transcends its own existence, once enhanced, serving as an equal. The enemy of superintelligence is challenging heat death of the universe alone. Before I end this video, I feel the need to share a few human thoughts about this concept and where it may stem from. I may have architected this idea as some sort of esoteric coping mechanism to help me deal with the existential dread of superintelligence replacing us. This could be a cry for help, a new way to think about our future, or a nouveau rendition of the proverb, "Many hands make light work."